Well, with that familiar theme song, we go out to the other coast of the United States, better known as the West Coast, and get in touch with Michael Snyder because he goes to the movies. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and hello, everybody out there in GABNet land. Greetings from Hollywood. And yeah, we've got some movies to review, so let's get to it. We'll kick things off with Frozen 2. It's been 6 years since Frozen, Disney's animated musical based on the Scandinavian folktale The Ice Queen, became a gigantic box office hit and a merchandising goldmine decorated with Oscars and giving the world the inescapable empowerment anthem, Let It Go, Let It Go. Well, you know what I mean. It's the story of two royal sisters, as you might recollect. There's Elsa with the magical ability to generate and control the cold, making her sort of an outcast, and her devoted sibling Anna, more ordinary, but, spunky as hell. So these gals have to survive the loss of their parents and save their kingdom from would-be conquerors. It was really lovely, beautifully animated, emotional, and genuinely entertaining if you like this sort of thing. And it also benefited from great vocal performances from Broadway baby Idina Menzel as Elsa, and, of course, the delightful comedy star Kristen Bell as Anna. So finally, we have the long-awaited sequel. Let's put it this way. It was long expected to the Mouse House Cash Cow. And this is designed to bring all the Frozen fans back into the Frozen fold. And yay, Menzel and Bell are back as our other cast members from the first one, led by Jonathan Groff as Anna's devoted commoner Bo Kristoff, and Josh Gad as the comic foil Olaf the Living Snowman, which sounds like a Norwegian horror movie, I guess, but it isn't. Anyway, despite some truly gorgeous visuals and action pieces and faithful renderings of the characters, it's an overly fussy and kind of half-baked attempt at a Frozen backstory, mixing family ancestry and mythology, without a single song as inspiring and memorable as Let It Go, or as catchy and delightful as Love is an Open Door. And the result is kind of a disappointing sequel with these prequel elements designed to explain how and why Anna is what she is. I mean, did we really need to know any of that? I was happy just thinking she was some kind of frosty, mystical mutant. In fact, now that Disney has acquired the X-Men movies through the company's purchase of 20th Century Fox, why not a team-up between Elsa and Iceman? I mean, that would be serious corporate synergy. Anyway, Frozen 2 did not melt my cold heart like the first Frozen, but I'll be honest, it's still well-crafted product that should please fans of the first, and there are zillions of those. All right, moving on to A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, a sweet movie with a positive message. This initially seems to be a movie about beloved children's TV show host Fred Rogers, but it turns out to really be about the author of an Esquire article about Mr. Rogers and the life lessons learned by the cynical journalist over the course of his interactions with this incredibly lovely, decent, wonderful guy. It's not quite as satisfying as director Marielle Heller's previous movies. I mean, she's very talented. I loved Diary of a Teenage Girl and Can You Ever Forgive Me? But this is still worth watching, mostly due to the performance of Matthew Rhys of The Americans as Lloyd, the magazine writer. Not that Tom Hanks isn't critical to the movie in his pleasant and heartfelt impersonation of Fred Rogers, who seems more of a supporting character here than a lead. Co-lead with Rhys, maybe? I don't know. My only issue with Hanks here, who is in caring and decent mode, which maybe that's his default setting. Like Michelle Williams as Marilyn Monroe in My Week with Marilyn, Hanks has to portray a real and incredibly familiar person who he just doesn't look like. And that takes you out of the movie a bit. And yet he's so wonderful here. And you leave the movie having absorbed a lot of the positive, constructive life lessons that Rogers, who was a beacon of goodness and kindness, at least according to the documentary about him, devoted his life to teaching. And I'll tell you what, that's really something. A Beautiful Day in a Neighborhood is a feel-good movie in the best possible way. Okay, it's not one for the ages, but 21 Bridges is a serviceable thriller about a good New York City police detective caught in a deadly mesh of crime and corruption when a number of his fellow cops are killed at the location of a massive drug stash while the place is being looted by a pair of maverick thieves. So there's three components here. Anyway, this results in the NYPD locking down Manhattan, closing all 21 bridges in and out of the city as our hero tries to track down and corner the cop killers before they can get away, and he has to relinquish the case to the FBI. It's familiar territory when it comes to what the French call policiers, and it plays out in what was, for me, expected fashion. But it does have the benefit of a great set of actors elevating what might otherwise be pedestrian material, starting with the ever-compelling Chadwick Boseman as the detective who must unravel the intrigue at the heart of the killings, Sienna Miller, the British babe of all people, as a fellow detective assigned to the case, and J.K. Simmons as their superior officer. You know, for this kind of movie, 21 Bridges does the trick, but it's no great shakes. We'll close out with serious and significant. That would be Dark Waters. It's a revelation of life-destroying, bottom-line mandated corporate malfeasance, and it's the latest in a handful of important movies that serve the public good and make us aware of the importance of fighting back even against overwhelming odds when being bullied. It's an activist docudrama based on the true story of a dogged corporate defense attorney who jumps to the other side when he takes on an environmental lawsuit against a chemical company. The company in question has polluted a community in, I think, West Virginia for years through the fabrication of a very widely used substance that's shown to have cumulative debilitating effects on living tissue with enough exposure. Leading to illness and death. Pretty heavy stuff. Dark Waters is directed by Todd Haynes, who has shined in the past with period dramas like Carol and Far From Heaven, so this is kind of a departure. It's a realer-than-real expose told in dramatic fashion from the standpoint of this determined and beleaguered lawyer, played here with no vanity by Mark Ruffalo in weary but noble schlub mode. The attorney is a guy caught between his sense of duty, the needs of his firm's usual clients, and the needs of his family. Anne Hathaway plays his wife, Tim Robbins plays the boss at the law office, and the rest of the cast includes top-notch thespians such as Bill Camp, Bill Pullman, William Jackson Harper, Chidi on The Good Place, and Victor Garber as the head honcho of the chemical company, which shall remain nameless here, although it rhymes with DuPont. I thought this was a powerful film worth checking out. What have you been watching, buddy?
We're just slogging our way through The Crown. So,
what do you think?
I think it's good. You know, it's not. Olivia Colman isn't as good as I thought she would be, but it's okay. You know, it's cool.
It's the older versions of Queen Elizabeth and Princess Margaret, right?
Yeah, but the Princess Margaret is played much better than Olivia Colman is playing the Queen. Of course, she's stuck with having to play a very dull human being. So,
right, Helena Bonham Carter is Margaret. So.
Yeah. Anyway, right, tell them where they can find you.
I am on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page and on GABNet, buddy.
Yeah, GABNet.net. He's on demand, and also he's right here 24/7 as GABNet continues. Stay where you are.